to our channel. It's a beautiful day here, and hope you're having a good time. So, this morning we just about to take you on, you know, on some issues that borders on Nigerian electoral matters and the Electoral Act, as explained by, by the vice presidential candidate of Labour Party, DATTI. So let me just take you on it. So, but first, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please do so and give us a like on our videos and share our videos so that others will have the opportunities, to see them as well. So thank you, and for those of you who have already subscribed, thank you for your help, and we appreciate. So let's go straight to the point. And okay, yeah.
Baba Ahmed. We've also given an invitation to the APC for them to come in and respond to this interview tonight to do.
The election petition is a matter for professionals, lawyers, and by our standard and general attitude, we allow the best to do justice to those questions. As the candidate, I would rather hold on to the constitutional matters that are also inclusive in what you just asked me now. So if you may, let me proceed to speak about Constitution. The Electoral Act, which is mainly what the lawyers are doing at the tribunal, is a process document. The Constitution is a different document in its entirety. Nations exist because they have a constitution. A constitutional breach is a big issue. It's a make or break issue. We're not just talking about losing the election. We're not talking about a constitutional breach. Where you have a constitutional breach, there is no president-elect. I beg to say, by the standard meaning of Section 134, there is the clear interpretation of 134, and there is the INEC interpretation of 134. Now, I'm going to hold on to that. I'll stick to that, and I'll deliver victory on that. By that, I dare tell you, with all humility, we do not have a president-elect in Nigeria today. What Alhaji Tinubu is holding is a dud certificate, is a dud check. There are no funds in that account. It will bounce. You cannot swear in a president whose certificate of return assaults the Constitution, because the Constitution is the platform on which a presidency rests, and when that has been violated, it cannot sit. Mr. President, do not organize that handover. CJN, your lordship, do not swear in this man so long as that problem is not cured. Swearing in Alhaji Tinubu is as good as swearing in a military regime. They are both unconstitutional.
Well,
no, hold on.
Yeah.
This is the all-important thing now.
Well, let me just make a quick disclaimer before you do. Because he will be sworn in unless the courts find in agreement with what you're saying.
So, listen,
right.
Let them swear him in for not 4 years, for 100 years. He will remain an unconstitutionally sworn in president. That's the point I'm making. Even if they swear him in, it is unconstitutional. That is our comfort. And that is our agitation at the same point. To save Nigeria, you have to cure that problem. Now, being the powerful that they are, it is even better for even us, the opposition, that they go and create additional 6% votes of the FCT from thin air and claim that they are the high and powerful and add it to his votes and swear him in with the 25%, than to go and swear in a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria without 25% in the FCT, denied by the Labour Party, us. Now, my take, when their lordships, the justices, make a ruling out of their wisdom, the common man on the street and you and I will listen to the judgment and will understand the judgment. If we can understand the judgment then, we can understand it now. Here is another take. The law is not a game for politicians to play. The Constitution is not a puzzle for candidates and their lawyers to solve. Justices, their lordships, are not in place for rich candidates to refer poor candidates to them after being bullied out in the polling units.
Well, your candidate isn't poor, is he?
We are, because we have not spent the kind of money they did.
Right, but he certainly isn't ranked as a poor person in Nigeria.
Well, anyway, that's not the issue now. Let's come back. We're talking about the wisdom of their lordships, because ultimately that will decide the fate of Nigeria. Wisdom is intellect plus experience, but this time you're talking of higher intellect. Intelligence is comprised of 5 qualities, and I'm now going into educational psychology. I'm actually delving into philosophy. Language ability, arithmetic ability, memory, logic, and creativity. All common people, you and I, have these things. Section 134 is as plain as can be. Section 134 was not at the mercy of Mahmoud Yakubu. At the height of administrative rascality, recklessness, and official arrogance to interpret.
Right. But
justices of the courts interpret the Constitution. Executive officers follow instructions.
Right, but just for the sake of our audience, just remind us of what Section 134 is.
Section 134 says the president shall have scored, not in exact wordings, at 25% in each of at least 2/3 of the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory.
Yeah, but that's a question of,
it could not be any clearer than this. There is no interpretation. Well, I told you, the Constitution is not a puzzle to be solved. The Constitution is a document simplified to be followed.
Yeah, but that's one of the grounds on which you're filing
I told you I am holding onto that, because right now, technically speaking, constitutionally speaking, security speaking, we do not have a president-elect by the standard definition of Section 134, but by INEC definition, they have proceeded to give a certificate of return. And I'm telling you that even if they swear in Alhaji Tinubu, it is an unconstitutional and will continue to be.
Yeah, but that's just one of the grounds. grounds on which you're filing a complaint.
Charles, you're not following me. Charles,
I understand what you mean, but let me just make this point
Yeah.
just briefly, and I apologize for interrupting you, but that point that you're holding on to has not been clearly determined by legal precedent. So we've got senior advocates of Nigeria arguing on both sides of the fence, for and against.
Can I answer you?
Yeah.
Even those who argued against us in this case ended up helping our case, that the FCT has been adjudged to be a state. Now, if it is a state, where is the 25% of FCT? They don't have it. Because the Constitution Section 134 says, in each of and the FCT. It could not be any clearer than this.
Well,
that is why I painstakingly took, ultimately when they use their wisdom to decide, they will come back to tell you what you and I will understand on an ordinary day. That ordinary day was yesterday, is today, is tomorrow. We can read Section 134, we can understand it, we can interpret it. And for God's sake, let me say once again, the Constitution is not a puzzle, it's a working document. It is the bedrock of a nation's life.
But obviously
it is the platform on which you swear in a president. If you violate it, use power, use anything to swear in a president, he will forever continue to be an unconstitutional president.
No, so, ladies and gentlemen, you just had what the vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Yusuf Datti, said. So, according to, I don't have to be, running another commentary on what he just said, but for a layman, understanding, what he's saying is that even if Tinubu is sworn in today or anytime soon as a president, that because he did not have that 25%, because that the Constitution says you have to have 25% from 2/3 of the 36 states, including FCT, 25% of each, including the FCT. So that Tinubu did not even meet that requirement, to start with. So, but what he's not saying is if Peter Obi or his Labour Party met that same requirement, so in that case, if there's a tie or they have to be a rerun or something, I think that would be, I doubt if anything like that will ever take place in Nigeria, because Nigeria is like the winner takes it all, So, but let's see, hang on and see, because as for me, let me make my point very clear on this issue, because as for me, the election has already come and gone. So I would love Obi, to lead, because I think that Obi have the capacity and the usefulness to move around and to do things and stuff like that without being, delegating power to some elements that might not be doing their job, optimally. So that is one of the reasons why I really wanted Obi to, to take charge, if possible, because I think that Obi have the capacity, actually, and the intelligence, to handle that office and execute a very beautiful job, So, but for Tinubu, if Tinubu has come into this equation maybe 10 years ago, maybe it would have been a very different equation altogether. But as it seems now, Tinubu is a very weak man. He looks very weak, So even if he has to be in power, I don't think Tinubu will be the one running things. So maybe it will be some other, psychopaths, who will be running things around and stuff. And as you see that the pattern of the elections and the victories for the APC, you can see that the North practically made Tinubu the president-elect as it is right now, because he got those number of states that he needed in most of those northern states, whether rigged or whatever, but he got them from the North. So which means he will be indebted, to the north. And if care is not taken, he might not even be indebted to the south, as it might seem. So he might just be another figurehead, just sitting there as a southerner, but at the end of the day, doing all the business of the north, just like Amici did when he was, uh, what do you call it, transport minister. He was just there like a figurehead. He never really did anything in the south. There was no railway line brought to not even to River State. Or neither did he open up the old Eastern Rail Line, you know, and make them, put them up to standard and things like that. Rather, he was building rail line to Niger Republic in the name of Buhari and things like that. So you can imagine. So if he's certain like that, who's so educated up to that extent, can be used, you know, to that level, then you can imagine what will happen if a northerner or if the northerners, you know, make a southerner a president, by their votes and by their whatever means and things like that, then you expect that person to be making policies that favors you as against the North. It's not possible. When Buhari was there, Southerners made Buhari the president, but yet Buhari never did anything for the South. He never did anything for Yoruba land. It was the same Tinubu that made Buhari, the president. For 8 years now, close to 8 years now. So there's no policy that I will say that Buhari actually implements that favor the South. In fact, Buhari even closed down the borders in the South and opened up the borders in the North, just to punish the Southerners. So, but definitely they always have one excuse, to bring up to say, okay, they are smuggling rice into the. So what about the things that were being smuggled, even from all the way from Libya? They were smuggling arms, from the north, from Niger, straight into the northern Nigeria. Then by extension into the rest of the Nigeria. So then before you know it, they were importing criminals from all over the Western African states into Nigeria. So that brought about the insecurity, expanded the insecurity issues, that brought Nigeria to its knees to where it is right now. So those who are just fighting are killing themselves, especially those who think because they are Yorubas, that Tinubu now is a Yoruba man, therefore they are the ones, who is going to, take power. I wish them well. So very soon we will see, who the president is and who is working for. So if he's just there sharing, what do you call it, doing sadaka, for, for the little boys who are hanging around him, the area boys like Oluomo, maybe give them some pathfinders and some nice jeeps, to be running around town with their photos and things, or elevating some other area boys to become local government chairmen and senators and things like that, or councillors. So if that is what they call spreading the word, we see. Or if we see some real physical development, that will really change the face of let's say the country, starting from Lagos, you know, starting from Lagos, because Lagos has become the center or the southern part of Nigeria when it comes to the economic, strength of the nation itself. But it's the pride, of the south as it is right now. So, but normally, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Calabar, you know, is supposed to be the southern destination when it comes to the economic activities, So, but Lagos as it is, if it's fully developed or it's taken up to, upgraded, to a certain level, then maybe then we can start pushing, to, for it's at least a certain being there. You should know the, the importance of the Warri port, to be reopened again, so that businesses again you know, will be striving. Then you should know about Port Harcourt Seaport, to be opened again. So if there's anything that has to be, drained, then let the drainages, in all these seaports again, take place, so that big ships can have flow in there and they share their goods and pick up, whatever thing that they have to pick up for our own benefit, not for exploitation. So the same thing applies to the Calabar port. So these are the things that we really need, in the south right now. That is my opinion. So apart from the roads and every other infrastructures, so these things are there. So if we utilize these things well, definitely business will thrive, and money. Definitely, our people are not lazy, so they know what to do. So and money again, we start to flow. We start to change hand. From A, B, C, etc. to Y to Z. So this is it. We need security for our people to be able to go to the farm, and feed themselves. So we don't have to be importing rice from any country for that matter, whether Thailand or China or what have you. It's a disgrace actually for a country like Nigeria to be importing rice or importing food for that matter. We don't need to eat Igbo food, because they don't eat our food. So why are we eating Igbo food? Let's eat what we have. So wheat and what have you and things like that, we can grow them. So why importing it? So by doing this, at least we are saving ourselves, you know, our hard and currencies, especially the foreign currencies that we are not supposed to be, throwing outside and stuff like that. So, and let's develop the use as well. So information technology is there, you know, these days, for us to utilize. So you have to stop all this harassment of the youth, with laptop and even telephone and things like that. So, and these police also, they also need some retraining. You know, they have to recalibrate them, their brains and medullas. You know, in order for them to think rightly. So whether it's poverty that is causing their problem or their brains to the malfunction, I want to know. So but I think it's the economic situation, you know, in the country that is causing all these things. Because if actually they are really paid, you know, they are paid well, then I don't think there'll be any need for all this. So unemployment also. If you are employing our youth, employing our people, directly, indirectly, you know, you are boosting the economy as well. It's when people have money, that's when they'll be able to, to buy things. So their purchasing power is very, very important. So help, because now we are not, nobody is even talking about free education anymore. Normally education ought to be free, so that every household, children, from certain ages and stuff like that, we have a direct access to free primary and secondary schools and even universities. So I don't see what's so bad in that or what's so hard in that to do. It's like recycling. So the money goes like this and it come back again, it goes like this and it come back again. Just like a wheel. So that's how it's supposed to be. So but the structures have to be there to control these things. So it's not all about all this too much grammar and what have you. But there's one thing I'm happy about is that no matter what, as it is right now, a certain president is all we need. We don't need Atiku or any other, person from the north to come here and start trying to, read the, you know, read the or rewrite the history of Nigeria and stuff like that, or reinvent any new way. So we don't need it. So because the northerners, they've always been doing this, they come in there, they break the economy down, then they leave the particles and the pieces. Therefore, they southerners to come and fix. So it's not a new thing. So let a southerner come in again and fix it. So that is why we are fighting that at least a young southerner this time around, should take the mantle of leadership and turn things around. But all of a sudden, they are taking us again back, to those, old thinking strategy of trying to, let's say, you know, turn the economy around. So, but let's see, maybe this could be some old to new digital modus operandus. You never can tell. So I leave it for now as at that. So let's see what the future will bring. We just can't tell. So, but ladies and gentlemen, so please don't forget to like our videos and share our videos, and as well give us a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not. God bless you. I'll see you soon.